Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Phillips H. Lord's Gangbusters. This episode, originally broadcast on September 25th, 1948, has to do with the Cincinatti Narcotics Ring.
Now, Gangbusters, presented in cooperation with police and federal law enforcement departments throughout the United States. The only national program that brings you authentic police case histories.
Gangbusters presents the case of the Cincinatti Narcotics Ring, whose deadly dealings in drugs spread across two nations, until the Royal Canadian Mounties, the Federal Narcotics Bureau, and Cincinnati Police cornered the ringleader in a final duel to death.
Gangbusters has asked the Honorable Clem W. Mers, Chief of Detectives of the Cincinnati Police Department, to narrate by proxy tonight's case. Chief Mers, I know the case you're going to tell us about tonight has an international flavor.
Well, that's true, Don Gardner. But most important, it shows the effectiveness of cooperation between federal, local, and Canadian authorities, despite the handicaps of international border lines.
Well, it sounds as though you have quite a case for us, Chief Mers. Why don't you start right in?
All right, Don. Suppose we begin just a few months ago in the city of Toronto, Ontario. Late one night, two men were in a room on the fourth floor of a second-rate hotel near the Union Station. One, a middle-aged, bald fellow, strangely nicknamed Sonny, sat on the edge of the bed, while the other, Big Jim Labard, occupied the only upholstered chair in the room. After a moment, Big Jim got up and walked to the dresser to pour drinks to bind the deal they'd just closed.
Okay, Sonny. We'll have a drink on it.
Take it easy with mine.
What's the matter, Sonny? Our Canadian whiskey bites a little hard?
It all bites hard after you tease it too much.
Here you are, Sonny. May you make a fortune out of the deal.
Much obliged, Jim, for wishing me a fortune. You already made yours when a licking I took.
Nobody asked you to come here and buy. You want, you got to pay the price. Well, here's luck.
400 apiece. It's the first time I ever paid 400 an ounce in the last. Here's the last.
Look, Sonny, an ounce of heroin is just as hard to come by in Canada as it is in the States.
Yeah.
And I'm the hottest guy in Toronto just now. They got 3 king's warrants out for me. I should lay low. If there is a deal, I got to make.
Okay, you may. Don't beef. When do you deliver?
When are you leaving? All you got to do is walk across the hall to my room. You can pick up the package anytime.
What do you mean, pick up the package? I ain't carrying 30 pieces over the border. You got to deliver to Cincinnati.
You take it with you, Sonny.
Who are you kidding? My understanding of the deal was you deliver to Cincinnati. I ain't running no drugs across the border. That ain't my business.
It ain't my business either, Sonny. Not at 400 an ounce, it ain't.
Okay, you won't deliver to Cincinnati. The deal's off.
Sit down there.
What's the matter with you?
You made a deal. You stick to it.
Not if I got to run the border, I don't.
It'll cost you an extra 100 apiece if I got it delivered to Cincinnati.
Who do you think you're holding up?
You.
An extra $3,000 for running the border with a 2-pound package? What do you think I am, crazy?
You can run the border for nothing, Sonny. It won't cost you a dime.
Okay, you robbed me. When do you deliver?
Won't be in a hurry. It'll get there. Come on across the hall to my room. I'll show you what you bought.
Yeah, that's always a good idea, seeing what you buy.
Have a look in the hall.
It's okay. There's not a soul around.
All right, you can go. Wait a minute.
What?
Back inside fast.
What's the matter?
Somebody's in my room.
You're crazy.
Did you see that light over the transom? I didn't leave no lights.
Law?
How should I know? We'll find out quick.
Don't be a dope. Stick in here a while.
I got about 50 pieces of heroin over there. I got to protect my investments.
If you got any sense, you'll duck that gun. You'll stick here.
Come on.
You don't get me involved killing no cops.
I need help in your
Now,
arrest. Shut up and open that door. Go on. The door was on latch. Walk across the hall. Open up and jump back.
Now look.
Go on. Hold it. Okay. Open. All right, don't move. Well, what are you after, sister?
I'm sorry. I must have made a mistake in the rooms.
Is that so?
Yes. I must be on the wrong floor.
Sonny.
Yeah?
Come in and shut the door.
Really? It is a mistake.
Mm-hmm. As long as you made a mistake, you figured you might as well take advantage of it, huh? Is that why you piled up my clothes, ready to go out the door with them?
Take it easy, Jim. Maybe she's Law.
Law? She's a sneak thief. Ain't that right, sister?
Please, I've never done anything before. Don't call the police, please.
What's your story?
I'm stuck in Toronto. I want to get back home to Montreal. I had to get fair somehow.
So you pick on me, huh?
I didn't know it was you. I didn't care who it was. I tried every door. Oh, please don't call the police.
Jim, she didn't find the... you know.
Don't worry. That'll take a good deal of looking. What's your name?
Lucille. Lucille Beauvais. You won't call the police?
No, I don't think so. You're a little too pretty to rot in jail. I think I'll give you your lesson myself. This is what you need. A lot of it you need. That ought to cure you.
Get rid of it, Jim.
All I wanted was fair to Montreal, that's all.
Well, you can walk it. Go on, get out.
Oh, all right. Oh, thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank me. For what?
For not calling the police. Goodbye.
Wait a minute.
Yes?
Lucille, didn't you say?
Yes.
How'd you like to earn car fare to Montreal?
Earn it? How?
Are you off your nut, Jim? Get rid of her.
Stick your head out of this. What's in Montreal?
That's home. I'm broke. There's no place else to go.
You got a job, Lucille.
I have?
Jim.
Sure you have. Now go in there and get rid of those tears. I'll tell you all about it when you feel better.
Okay. In there?
Yeah. Go on.
Thanks. Thanks ever so much. You know, you're really nice.
How crazy can you get, Jim?
Did you ever see such eyes? Black as the ace of spades.
What do you want to get mixed up with a lousy sneak thief for?
She was telling the truth. It's the first thing she ever tried.
Who are you kidding? They all got the same
She
story.
was telling the truth. Dreamed about running into one like her.
How can a guy as hot as you take a chance? How do you know she won't crack the law the minute she finds out?
You want your 30 pieces delivered to Cincinnati, don't you?
What's that got to do with it?
Not much. Except little Lucille is going to carry him across the border for me.
Oh, well, I don't care how, just as long as it gets across.
It will. Tomorrow you take a train to Windsor.
And you?
I'll drive with Lucille. You check into the Buckingham in Windsor. You'll hear from me by Tuesday night. So you've never been on a trip across to the States, Lucille?
I've always wanted to go.
You have your wish tomorrow. First thing in the morning. Let's have a drink on it, huh?
Jim, why do we have to lie to them? Why do we have to tell them we're married?
Oh, saves a lot of unnecessary questions, baby, that's all.
How?
No, if it's just a couple from Toronto going on a little vacation, there's nothing to it. We drive right across.
Well, I suppose it's all right.
Sure, it's all right.
Only, I don't have the clothes to take a vacation.
Wait till we get across to Detroit. You'll get nice clothes.
Honest, I can't get over it all. Especially when I think I could have been in jail. How could I have done such a dumb thing?
Well, at least you picked the right room.
You've really been swell.
That's because I want to be. Don't worry about it. You
What's the matter?
sit still and keep your mouth shut. Those two guys coming to cops.
Cops?
Are you out for a good time, Big Jim?
Yeah, I like a good time as well as anybody.
Oh!
Right out of my way.
You stay with her. Hello?
Sonny.
How's this, Jim?
Yeah,
Had some trouble?
plenty. A couple of cops made me in the joint. I just did get away.
You didn't lose the goods.
No, I got the goods. It was in the car. They hauled in Lucille.
So what? As long as they didn't get you with the goods.
You got a pencil handy?
Yeah, why?
I'm going to give you the name of a lawyer. Get hold of him, tell him to get a writ or make bond for her. Anything.
Are you kidding?
I want her out, do you hear?
You don't need her to get the stuff across, and you know it.
Get hold of that lawyer and get her out. And you get on a train and head for Cincinnati. I'll see you there in a couple of days. Have my dough ready because I'm going to need it. Don't forget the lawyer. If she don't get out, the 30 pieces stay in Canada.
September 25th, 1948, Gangbusters on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You know, it's true. Difficult times have a way of focusing us. We have to think about what matters most when it comes to our spending, our health care. No doubt. This is why so many people are joining Medishare right now. Medishare is a trusted way to save up to 50% on your monthly healthcare costs. More than 400,000 people have already made the switch. It's pretty obvious why, too, especially now during this challenging season with healthcare costs and out-of-pocket expenses going up. Medishare can save you a lot of money. The typical family saves $500 a month. And Medishare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that's worked beautifully for 29 years. There are different options to choose from to fit your budget. I'll give you the number here in a second, and if you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Maybe now is the perfect time to make the switch and start saving. Here you go. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Gangbusters, September 25th, 1948.
Showdown, the fugitive Big Jim Labard, a notorious Canadian dealer in narcotics, had a narrow escape from capture. The next time he was face to face with police officers, a shower of bullets closed the gap between them.
You were telling us, Chief Mers, that the Canadian narcotics dealer, Big Jim Labard, narrowly missed arrest in Windsor, Ontario, the night before he planned to smuggle 30 ounces of heroin into the United States.
That's right, Don, but the police did pick up the girl, Lucille Beauvais, whom Labard planned to use as an aid in the smuggling venture. Well, there was no evidence against her, and she didn't even know the identity of Labard, so she was released shortly after dark the next night. She walked out of the House of Detention for Women. A stranger in town, Lucille had no particular place to go, and she headed toward a brightly lit restaurant, which was the first thing she saw as she walked out of the jail door.
Lucille?
What?
Keep walking. Keep your head straight.
They told me who you are.
About to tell you myself before I had to leave. Meet me in an hour. Victoria Park. Bench under the Queen's statue. Make sure you aren't followed. Change cabs a couple of times. Here, here's some dough.
I don't know whether I want to meet you.
Be there. I'll see you. Hello?
What?
It's me.
Oh.
Back here in the shadows. I wanted to see if you had the place set up with cops.
You know I wouldn't do anything like that.
I didn't know. Mind if I come around and sit down?
No.
Well, what'd they tell you about me? I'm a pretty mean customer, huh?
That's what they said.
Would you still like to go across to the States?
To help you smuggle dope.
Do you care why? Cigarette?
Yes, thanks. I didn't know what to think of you bringing me from Toronto, wanting to take me to the States. Especially when you caught me robbing your room. I thought maybe you fell in love with me.
Maybe I did.
You wanted to use me. You had a purpose.
If I only wanted to use you, why should I take the chance meeting you tonight? If they caught me, it'd be 10 years, baby, at least.
That's what they told me.
Come here.
Please, no.
I said to come here.
Please, Jim.
There. Does that look like I just want to use you?
I want to go back home to Montreal.
You think you're too good for me? You think a sneak thief is any better than I am?
It's not that, Jim.
You're coming to the States with me.
No, I can't.
You want to and you know it.
All right, I want to.
What are you waiting for?
All right, Jim. I'll go with you.
Sure you will.
But they're watching all the borders, Jim, I know. They've got the U.S. Customs in the lookout. Oh, you'll get caught.
Yeah, plans have changed, baby. We're not going as tourists anymore. Now, come on.
All right. Hold me, Jim. I'm freezing.
Hold yourself, baby. Gotta keep my eye out for the patrol. How much longer, Mac?
Another 15 minutes, maybe. Keep your voice down. Carries over the water.
Oh, Detroit sure looks near. Looks like it could reach out for those lights.
15 minutes, baby, that's all.
15 minutes seems like a century.
Get it done.
What are you worried about? Isn't it? Hey, turn around, Mac. At the patrol boat?
Jim.
Aye, that looks like it. Get to him.
Jim.
Shut up.
Jim, what are we going to do?
Don't you know when to keep quiet?
Jim. Oh, you're hurting me.
Then keep quiet.
Stay low on the boat. Maybe they'll pass us by.
Jim, if one of their searchers...
Shut up. Jim, drop the package overboard.
Not on your life.
Drop the package and I have us for nothing.
I don't throw 15 grand overboard. I fight for it.
Jim, please.
What goes over, Jim?
Watch out, Mac. You'll be the first to get shot.
Aye, very well.
Boat's going away, I think.
Aye, it is. It's a pleasure craft.
Jim.
That was a squeaker.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to Detroit.
Yeah. Go on. Row.
Captain Hoffman.
Lead off, Captain. Agent Laney of the Narcotics Bureau Treasury Department is here to see you.
Laney? Laney, is he from the Cincinnati office?
Just a second, Captain. You from the local office, Mr. Laney?
No, I'm out of Washington.
He's from Washington, Captain.
Ask Mr. Laney to come in.
Right. Right through that door, Mr. Laney.
Thanks.
Come in, Laney.
Hello, Captain.
Well, I'm glad to meet you. Have a chair.
Thanks. I'm in Cincinnati on a special job, Captain.
How can we help?
Did you ever handle a narcotics dealer, Sonny Wilton?
Yes, we've handled him.
Do you know where I can put my hands on him?
At the moment, no, but I'll put a couple of my boys to checking with you.
Well, we're more interested in a guy he's been dealing with lately, Big Jim Labard, a Canadian.
You think he's in Cincinnati, too?
Well, it's just a tip. The Canadian Mounties have been looking for him on 3 warrants, narcotics cases.
Mm-hmm.
They picked up a boatman who's been running smugglers across the Detroit River. Their information is that Big Jim made a deal with Sonny and came to Cincinnati.
Okay, we'll be on the lookout for them both.
The Mounties almost got their hands on this Big Jim last week. He saw them coming and ducked out of a bar. They couldn't shoot in account of the crowd, but they did get a girl he was with.
Oh? How does she figure in it here?
Well, they had no charge to hold her on. According to the boatman, Big Jim just took her along when he smuggled in the narcotics.
I see. Excuse me a second.
Sure.
Yes, Captain.
Ask Mayor and Stutz to step in here right away.
Yes, sir.
They're a couple of my best men on this kind of deals.
Oh, good. We don't have too much to go on, Captain, but the Canadian authorities are doing a little further checking on the girl. If they find out anything, we'll hear about it. They want Labard and want him bad.
Jim.
What?
I don't feel like going out and drinking and staying up all night again tonight.
I do.
Do you think it's time we got out of Cincinnati?
Sonny's friends are good people to know.
Well, I don't care for them.
Well, act like you care for them. This is business.
Oh, Jim, I want to go home. I want to go to Montreal.
You don't stop nagging me about going home. I'll give you something really to nag about.
All right, Jim.
Made a lot of dough, Sonny. A good chance to make more.
We're not taking that boat trip again.
Yep. You're going to help with the load.
More dope?
No. You know, something is just as hard to come by in Canada. Guns.
Guns?
Yeah. A lot of guys I know will pay a good price for a heater. And that's what we're taking back. A good stock of guns.
Didn't you make enough money?
There's never enough money. And listen, baby. Wake up when we get to that party. These are people I'm doing business with. I don't want him to think I got a corpse traveling with me.
All right. I'll wake up.
Captain Hartman.
Laney, Narcotics Bureau, Captain.
Oh, hello, Laney. Anything new?
I think so. I just spoke to Washington. They got a message from the Canadian Mounted Police. They had a mail cover on the home of the girl's mother in Montreal.
Oh?
A letter showed up from her.
Mail from Cincinnati?
Yep, with a return address on Maple Avenue. I went by and looked at the building. It's a big apartment house.
Uh-huh. I suppose we put a plant there and wait for them to come out.
That's all right with me.
Okay, you come on by here, Laney, and we'll see what arrangements we can make. Hello, Laney. How's it going?
You haven't seen a soul that looks like the bard of the girl, Captain.
Well, a lot of people live in the apartment house. Stick here long enough and we'll spot them.
Yeah, I suppose so. If we... Wait a minute. Someone coming out.
Yeah.
No, it's not Big Jim. Like I say, if we...
No, it's not Big Jim, but...
September 25th, 1948, Gangbusters on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The conclusion follows these important words from your favorite station.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently, and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? We can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents or having to waste time showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your house to foreclosure. If you have equity in your home, we'll buy your home and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call now before your situation gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just need anymore and get the cash you need today. Call this number now.
800-477-4612. 800-477-4612. 800-477-4612. That's 800-477-4612. Paid for by Want to Sell.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Gangbusters in the Cincinnati Narcotics Ring, September 25th, 1948.
Wouldn't you like Sonny?
Is that him?
I couldn't miss Sonny 2 blocks away. Come on.
Right.
Let me handle this, Laney. I know him.
Right ahead.
He's coming this way. Let's stop and light a cigarette. Have one?
Thanks.
Light?
Thank you.
Where do you think you're going, Sonny?
Hey.
Police officers.
Oh, is that so?
Where's Big Jim?
I don't know what you're talking about.
He lives in that building and you know it.
Why'd you go in and get him?
Okay. We're going to knock on every door. And you're going to be right in front of us.
No. Look, you don't get me mixed up in this.
Which is his apartment?
He's got guns. He's got plenty of guns. He'll use them. You don't get me to knock on his door.
Which is his apartment, Sonny?
H5. Look, don't take me up there. Hold me in. He'll use those guns.
All right. We'll see that you get a nice seat on the sidelines.
Good. That's where I want to be, on the sidelines.
You keep your eye on him, Laney. I want to call downtown and get a couple more men out here. We may need them.
Yeah, I'll say you will.
Go on, Captain. I'll watch him till you get back.
Listen.
What?
Come on over here and give me a hand with this stuff.
Oh, Jim, I'm busy trying to pack. What is it?
Let me get the stuff out of that drawer and into the carton. Well, come on.
Jim, I don't want to handle guns.
Guns are the safest thing in the world when you know how to handle them. Come on, help me pack them.
Are they loaded?
Sure they're loaded. What good do you think they'd be if they weren't?
I can't touch them.
If you want to go back to Montreal, you'll give me a hand.
No.
Listen,
Jim.
when I tell you something, I mean it.
Please, you're hurting.
You hurt too easy. Now, give me a hand.
Who's that? Expecting anybody?
Go on, answer it. You'll find out.
Yes? Who is it?
Sonny, open up. I want to see Jim.
Jim, it's Sonny.
Well, let him in. He can give me a hand.
All right, Sonny, just a minute. Sonny, I thought you were...
We're police officers.
No.
One side.
Jim.
Okay, Jim, get him up quick.
Yeah.
Watch him, he's got a gun.
Jim, no!
Get him! Watch out! That did it. Come on.
Jim.
Looks like he's through, miss.
I owed him so much.
I can imagine.
Lead off, call an ambulance. Yes. All right, miss. Now let's have the story. From beginning to end.
That, Don, was how Cincinnati police and agents of the Narcotics Bureau Treasury Department dealt with James Labard, a dangerous fugitive from Canada. The girl, Lucille, was deported to Canada to face various charges. And Sonny Wilton, the Cincinnati narcotics dealer, was held on a charge of parole violation and returned to prison to complete his term.
Well, congratulations, Chief Mers, to all the officers, Cincinnati, federal, and Canadian, who showed such excellent coordination in bringing about an end to this dangerous criminals. Tonight's case was dramatized by Stanley Niss and directed by William Sweets, with Frank Reddick and Susan Douglas in leading roles. Don Gardner speaking. Gangbusters is a Phillips H. Lord production.
September 25th, 1948, Gangbusters on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Attention Walmart shoppers. Now you can order one of the most advanced hearing aids on the market for hundreds, not thousands of dollars. Hearing Assist's most advanced product lineup includes models that use an exclusive app for enhanced control over what you want to hear. It's perfect if you have a smartphone or iPhone to hear everything better. And we have two great ways for you to get one. You can call the number at the end of this ad and order directly. Or you can call this same number and we will text you a complete list of Walmart Vision Center locations. We make it easy for you to hear better. Remember, call this number today to order and have a text message instantly sent to your phone to find the Walmart Vision Center near you. Here's that special number.
Call 800-360-0597. 800-360-0597. 800-360-0597. That's 800-360-0597.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, Part 2 of the 5-part Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, The Meg's Palace Matter. This episode originally broadcast on September 25th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
Byron Kay in Boston, Johnny.
Hi.
The operator had quite a time locating you.
I don't see why. I'm in the only available room for rent here in Cod Harbor.
Huh? Well, she said she was ringing Meg's Palace Restaurant.
That's where I am. Room's right above the place.
Well, tell me, have you found out whether it's true somebody's trying to burn up that joint and put Meg out of business?
Not only that, By, but whoever's behind the attempts to get her out of the way has threatened to get me.
Hey, you want some help?
Yeah, I want you to send me something by truck soon as possible.
Huh?
And I want to be sure it arrives here quietly at night so that nobody in this little fishing village knows it arrives.
Holy smoke, what?
Listen carefully, By, and I'll tell you. I want you to send me 6 large...
Tonight, and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. From Special Investigator Johnny Dollar, location Cod Harbor, Massachusetts. To the Intercoastal Maritime and Life Insurance Company, Boston. Assignment, The Meg's Palace Matter. Expense account continued. Expense account item... Well, since you're paying for and sending that batch of fire extinguishers, Byron, I can hardly charge them to my expense account, can I? But I have a sneaking suspicion they might be mighty important. A cursory inspection of this tiny fishing community has revealed no sign of a firehouse. Nothing, in fact, but some hose connections for cleaning off the docks. And after the threats Meg McCarthy has received, plus a couple of attempts to fire up this disreputable-looking establishment of hers, well, I guess I still have some Boy Scout blood in my veins. In view of the threat to me, I figured it might be a good idea to consult the local authorities. I learned a long time ago that it's a good plan to enlist their cooperation when working in a strange, small community. Inquiries from some of the fishermen mending their nets spread out on the long wharf led me to a small, shabby, unmarked frame shack that stood about a block away from the waterfront.
Hey, come in.
Mr. Beasley?
That's right. Well, what's your name?
Johnny Dollar.
Dollar, Okay, what do you want?
Well, you're the chief of police, I understand.
Acting chief of police?
Oh.
Acting mayor, too, an acting judge, acting town clerk, acting just about anything else you could want.
I don't get it.
Well, I don't know why not. Officially, I guess Cod Harbor's just a part of Barnesboro, a couple of miles inland. We're so small, and we're not incorporated like most towns, so we just have to be kind of self-sufficient under ourselves. You see what I mean? And you know something? It works out pretty good.
Yeah, well, I guess it's as acting chief of police that I've come to see you.
Yeah, what about?
The Meg's Palace Cafe.
Yeah, and you take any stock in Meg's talk about somebody threatening to burn up that cockroach-loaded dump she calls a restaurant?
I'm representing the insurance company that holds $15,000 insurance on it.
Never come to your mind, Mr. Dollar, that Meg her own self might have set the fires to collect that insurance?
Call for help as a cover-up? Yeah, the thought has entered my mind.
Just crazy enough to do a thing like that, too.
Hasn't she been to you for help?
She told me.
Oh, what sort of evidence, one way or another, have you turned up?
Dollar, I haven't looked for any.
Yeah, what?
The less I meddle in their affairs, the less trouble I'll have with the folks here in Cod Harbor.
Oh, hey, now, wait a minute. For a mayor and police chief and so on, you don't seem to be very concerned about these people of yours.
So, maybe I'm not. What's the difference?
Well, look here, if you...
Yeah, you know, unless something serious happened, like a murder
or a fire that destroyed Meg's Palace and maybe half the docks. Don't you think that sort of thing is serious?
Well, yeah, if it happens. Then I'd probably have to call in the regular appointed authorities over to Barnesboro. But there hasn't been any fire yet. Not any real one. So why get your dander up?
Well, I'll be. Look, with so little concern about the place, how did you ever get all those jobs?
Easy. Lost my schooner out on the banks last fall. So for want of something better, I just took it. I took them all. Why not? The town feeds and bores me, and I like it. So...
Real soft, lazy, good-for-nothing life, huh?
Sure. Now, why don't you be a good boy, Dollar, and leave things be around here? Stop wasting my time.
Well, just let me take enough of your valuable time to ask a couple of questions.
Sure. Go ahead. No harm in asking.
I want to know about some of the people here in Cod Harbor.
Like who?
Clem Harris, for one.
Careful, boy. That's my cousin.
Oh.
Who else?
Ernie Turner and Tony Fortino.
Oh. On account of them's the three that run the other dirty bites along the docks, huh?
Yeah. I'd like a rundown on all three of them.
Easy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Go talk to them.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
Easiest way I know of for you to find out all about them.
Oh, you're a lot of help.
Dollar, like I said, we're kind of self-sufficient unto ourselves around here. We like it that way. And that's just another way of saying we don't like strangers coming here and messing around in our affairs.
Well, that was pretty definitely that. It was getting quite late, and I decided I'd better postpone any interviews with Meg's business rivals until the following morning. Besides, as I walked along the wharf, I noticed that they were closed. Then I remembered somebody else I wanted to talk to, the beneficiary of Meg McCarthy's life insurance policy, the master of the fishing boat, Lily Ann, Captain Billy Morgan. But the Lily Ann, tied up at her berth, was dark and empty. Well, if anyone knew where Captain Billy was, it'd be Meg herself. So I walked the boards back to Meg's Palace. What greeted me as I opened the back door of the place was truly a sight to behold.
Over there with that hose, you scum of a land-loving. Over there in the corner, can't you see? What's the matter with your blinking eyeball?
Standing in the center of the floor, brandishing a moth-eaten feather duster as if it were a club, stood Captain Billy Morgan, shouting orders to three men who were cleaning up the mess of pots and pans and broken crockery left over from Meg McCarthy's temper tantrum of a short while earlier, when she belabored this same Captain Billy for a little celebration he and his crew had in their place the night before. Belabored? It looked like she must have thrown one of everything in the joint at him. Bill! Hey, Captain Billy! Hey!
Oh, it's you, huh? Seen you here earlier today when Meg throwed me out.
Looks to me like you weren't all she threw.
Yes, sir. Oh, she's a living dog. Hey, see,
Ain't you the insurance hand? She telephoned to help her find out who's trying to burn her out of here. Name's Johnny Dollar, ain't it?
Yeah, that's right. And, Captain, I'd like to ask you a favor.
Charlie, you yellow-bellied, bug-eyed, bandy-waisted. Don't throw that trash in the corner. What's the matter with you? All right.
Sorry, Mr. Dollar, but I guess the boys don't like working at night when they got to be up and aboard Little Ann and headed out for the fishing banks by 3 a.m. in the morning.
Don't blame them.
We couldn't leave Meg's place in a mess like this, now could we? After all, she's going to have to serve us coffee and sinkers before we go.
Where is she?
Upstairs. Has been for the last hour.
In her room?
In that room she's renting out to you. Figured like maybe it could stand some cleaning up and debugging, I guess.
You know something? She figured right.
Avast there with the mop all here. I'll wring it around your bloody neck. And swab off them tables whilst you're at it. Can't you see the mess you left on them?
What can I do for you, Mr. Dollar?
Well, look, why don't you and I go into the kitchen, Captain, where we can hear ourselves think?
Well, sure, why not?
All right, now you keep at it, you sow-bellied lunkheads. And if the joint ain't clean and tidy when I come back, I'll blast you all over the lee scuppers.
Real fine bunch of boys I got there, ain't they?
I'll buy it, are they?
You bet your sweet living life they are. Finest crew on any boat in the harbor. Charlie, Ole, and Montgomery. Now, what was it you wanted, Mr. Dollar? You found out anything about who's causing all the worries to my lover girl?
Not very much yet.
Well, I hope you do.
Do you?
Huh? I don't get you.
I'm going to be honest with you. Lay all the cards right on the table.
Well, that's the only way, I always say.
All right. I'm just as concerned about Meg herself as I am about this cafe.
Sure you are. Me too.
Now, whether you like it or not, I have to consider the fact that you are the beneficiary of Meg's $25,000 life insurance policy. If anything were to happen to her...
Why, sure, I see what you mean. You bet your life I see what you mean. Why, you blasted land-loving son of a dirty yellow sculpin.
Take it easy, Captain.
Take it easy. You trying to say I hurt one single hair make my cut? Dollar, you make cracks like that, I'll swab the decks with that ornery hide of yours and feed you. Put him up! Put him up, Dollar! You want to talk to me like that, you put him up!
I said pipe down, Captain. Let's talk sense a minute.
Talk sense, yeah, but don't you go implicating it.
I didn't imply a thing yet.
Well, I warn you, you
just
don't.
Just a minute there, Captain Billy Morgan, just a minute. Who do you think you're talking to like that, the guest of me humble establishment?
Well, I'm sorry, Meg, darling, but he was
And why ain't you in there helping those poor boys of yours with the cleaning up?
Well, but they're almost finished up, Meg, me darling.
Besides, unless you ought to get out of here and get your sleep, you'll not be worth your salt on the boat tomorrow.
Meg, I'd like to talk to Captain Billy.
Tomorrow. Go out in the boat with him in the morning, and you'll all have plenty of time to talk.
Well, I want to talk to him now.
Willie boy, get out with them. Go on.
Well, yes, my dear. And, I'll see you at the dock at 3 in the morning.
Well, now, wait a minute.
Also, Johnny boy, you go out with him. It'll give me a chance to fix your room up real nice for you, like it should be for a gentleman like yourself.
Okay, Meg. Come to think of it, I was promised a fishing trip on this case.
Anyways, I'll not be worrying about any fires tonight with you staying here. So if you don't mind, I'll retire to my bed and see you at breakfast time.
Okay. Maybe I can help Billy's crew finish cleaning up in there.
Oh, don't you lift a finger. 'Twas a Willie boy I throwed them plates and things so him and his crew can clean it up. Good night, Johnny boy. There's food in the icebox and your bed's all made when you're ready to retire.
I stood there for a moment, smiling after her. Then I decided I'd take her advice, that instead of helping the men clean up the cafe, I'd get a breath of fresh air before hitting the sack. The moon was just a thin sliver in the eastern sky, and the stars twinkled merrily in the broad, clear expanse overhead. The cottages of the peaceful little fishing village were dark. Along the docks at the waterfront, the fishing boats playfully nudged each other as they slowly and quietly swung and rolled on the gently heaving water. Their masts and rigging formed an intricate, ever-changing pattern against the occasional beam from the lighthouse and the point as it lazily swept across the night. Somewhere, far out on the landward breeze, an occasional seabird called. It was all so peaceful and serene that I couldn't help wondering how trouble could ever come to a... Then I saw it. A slight movement at the front corner of the old building. A silhouette hunched over, tensely watching the front door, waiting for whom? Slowly, as quietly as possible, I crept up on whoever it was, hoping in the dim light to recognize him or her before I was discovered. Softly, I passed the side door, I could still hear the members of the crew inside of their work. But in my concentration on the person out front, I was too slow in my reaction when that side door suddenly opened behind me. Huh? What? Who are you? Oh, no, you... Oh! And very suddenly, it got very dark.
Now, here's our star to tell you about tomorrow's episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, a trip to sea on the Lily Ann that starts out like an ordinary fishing trip. But somewhere on board lurks a man with murder in his heart. And his next intended victim, me. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. It is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone, who also wrote this week's story. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
September 25th, 1956, yours truly, Johnny Dollar on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
America's Protestants, Catholics, and Jews are strengthening the bonds of brotherhood and friendship by helping the needy overseas. Through their houses of worship, these three faiths are sending voluntary relief to virtually every free country in the world. Hundreds of millions of pounds of goods, clothing, and medicine will go to victims of war, disaster, and famine in many parts of the world. More than 80% of American voluntary relief work for the hungry and needy overseas is conducted through the religious agencies of these three major faith groups. When you share with needy persons overseas through your house of worship, you are promoting the spirit of democracy that unites all peoples for peace and goodwill. You are keeping faith with the finest tradition and heritage of America. CBS Radio urges you to keep faith with those in need overseas by giving as much as you can through your faith.
Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank this station, support their advertisers. It's our kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite radio station. If you miss a day, you don't have to miss a show. All of our shows are available on demand at classicradio.stream. At classicradio.stream, you can stream our shows to learn more about classic radio collecting. You can also find our social media links there. You can contact me, and you can buy me a copy. That Buy Me a Copy money goes to acquire additional classic radio collections. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the radio dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station. Have yourself a great day, won't you please?